Right now, in this very moment, the NBA playoffs just changed forever. And if you don't watch this video till the end, you're going to miss the one thing that every analyst is too scared to say out loud. Stay locked in. We are talking about two games. One was a coronation, and one was an execution. The Oklahoma City Thunder didn't just beat the Lakers tonight. They sent a message to the entire league. And the Detroit Pistons? Nobody, saw this coming. I'm about to break down every single play, every single moment, and every single reason why these results are going to haunt both losing teams for years. Let's go. Before we even get into the film, before we talk about stats, before we talk about matchups, I need you to understand something. What happened tonight is not normal. This is not, oh, the better team won. This is a shift. A power shift. The kind that happens maybe twice in a decade in the NBA. And you are watching it happen in real time. I'm about to show you exactly why, and trust me, by the minute 10 of this video, you are going to be calling your friends and telling them to turn this on. Let's start in Oklahoma City. Because what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did tonight needs to be framed and put in a museum. From the opening tip, the Thunder came out with a defensive intensity that the Lakers simply had no answer for. I'm about to tell you something right now that is going to bother you. The Lakers weren't just outplayed tonight. They were outcoached, outschemed, and outwilled. That's three different problems, and that means this series might already be over. Watch this. First quarter, Thunder come down, SGA attacks the paint, and notice what happens on the weak side. Every single Laker defender is frozen. They practiced for this. They drilled this exact action, and OKC ran it perfectly 17 times tonight. 17. Not a coincidence. That's called dominance by design. And LeBron James, let me be very careful here because I respect the legend, but tonight, LeBron looked like a man trying to stop a flood with his hands. He was working. He was trying. But the Thunder are built in a way that makes even greatness feel small. And here's the part that should keep every Lakers fan up at night. SGA is 26 years old. He just got started. Now I'm about to tell you something that nobody in the mainstream media is talking about, and this is the part where you need to pay very close attention. The Thunder's bench production tonight was not luck. It was a system. And that system is about to expose every contender left in these playoffs. Here's what I want you to really understand about what went wrong for LA. It wasn't one play. It wasn't one quarter. It was one decision made weeks before the series started, and now they're paying for it on the biggest stage. I'm going to walk you through it step by step because when you see it, you will not be able to unsee it. The Lakers built their playoff rotation around slowing the game down, controlling pace, making it ugly. That works against 80% of the league. But OKC? OKC actually plays better in a slow game. Because when it slows down, SGA's isolation game becomes unstoppable and their defense tightens into something that looks almost illegal. LA walked right into the trap. And now, down in the series, they have to completely reinvent how they play basketball. In a playoff series. Against the best young team in the league. The pressure right now on that Lakers locker room is something I haven't felt since. Actually, I'll get to that comparison in a few minutes, because it's going to shock you. Okay. Stop everything. Because what Detroit just did to Cleveland needs its own documentary. I'm not exaggerating. The Pistons walked into Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, one of the loudest buildings in the NBA playoffs, and they played like they owned the place. Like the crowd wasn't there. Like the pressure wasn't there. Like nobody told them they were supposed to lose. And here's the thing that's going to make you question everything you thought you knew about this year's playoffs. The Cavs were the number 1 seed. They had home court. They had rest. They had every single advantage on paper. And Detroit made every single one of those advantages completely meaningless. How? I'll tell you exactly how in a second, and this is the part of the video where I need you to really focus because this is information that changes how you watch every remaining playoff game. The Pistons' game plan was so specific, so detailed, and so perfectly executed that I genuinely believe this coaching staff just put themselves in the conversation for Coach of the Year next season. Here is what they did, and nobody is saying this out loud yet. They identified Cleveland's 3 primary ball handlers and built an entire defensive scheme around making those 3 players make left-hand decisions in the fourth quarter. Sounds simple? It is not simple. Because to make that work, every single defender on the floor has to be connected on every single possession, for 48 minutes, in a road playoff game, with a crowd trying to tear the roof off the building. And Detroit did it. They did it cleanly. They did it consistently. And the Cavs never adjusted. Now here's the moment that I need to break down in slow motion, and this is the play that decided the entire game before most people even realized it was happening. Fourth quarter, under 4 minutes, Cavs had the momentum. And then Detroit ran the one action that Cleveland had absolutely no answer for. I want you to watch what happens off the ball here, Because the player who wins this game isn't the one who had the most points. It's the one who made the one play that nobody talks about. And this is what separates good teams from dangerous teams. Alright. We are now in the part of this video where I'm going to tell you exactly what happens next, and I want you to screenshot this, save this, come back in 2 weeks, and tell me I was wrong. Because I don't think you'll be able to. If the Thunder continue playing this brand of basketball, there is no team left in the Western Conference that can stop them in a 7-game series. I'll say it again. No team. Not Denver. Not anyone. And here's the specific reason why, and this is going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people to hear. OKC's defense doesn't just take away your best play. It takes away your second best play. And your third. By the time you're running your fourth option offense in a playoff game, the shot clock is already dying and SGA is already pushing in transition. This team has been built for exactly this moment, and the front office made decisions 3 years ago that are now paying off in the most spectacular way possible. The patience. The process. The pain. All of it is showing up right now on the court. On the eastern side, Detroit just proved that experience can be beaten by hunger. The Cavs have veterans. They have a system. They have stability. But the Pistons have something that you cannot coach and cannot buy. They have absolutely nothing to lose. And in the NBA playoffs, the most dangerous team on the floor is always the one that isn't afraid of the moment. Detroit is not afraid. And that should terrify every remaining Eastern Conference team. Let's get individual. Because in all of this team talk, there are specific players who stepped into this moment and made it theirs. And the names might not all be who you expect. SGA's performance tonight was one of the top 5 individual playoff performances of this entire decade. I know that's a big statement. But let's look at what he actually did, not just the box score numbers, because box scores lie. Look at the moments he chose. Look at when he was aggressive versus when he deferred. Look at his off-ball movement in the third quarter when OKC needed to reset. This is a player who is not just talented, he is strategically brilliant. He's reading the defense, making the defense read him, and then doing the opposite of what they prepared for. That is next-level basketball IQ, and at 26, we are watching him peak. Right now. This season. These playoffs. You are watching the arrival of a dynasty. And in Detroit, I need to talk about the player who had the quietest massive game of these entire playoffs. Because everyone is going to talk about the stars. But the player I'm about to mention right now is the actual reason Detroit won tonight. And when I tell you who it is, you're going to immediately go back and watch the highlights and say, "Oh my God, he's right. That player was everywhere. And nobody saw it." Here's where I want to put all of this in perspective. Because sports don't exist in a vacuum. Every game we watch is connected to every game that came before it. And what we saw tonight, these 2 results on the same night, this is historically rare. Let me tell you why. In the last 30 years of NBA playoff history, there have been exactly 4 occasions where 2 simultaneous upsets or dominant performances in the conference semifinals created a complete reordering of championship favorites overnight. 4 times in 30 years. And tonight might be the 5th. The odds that both of these results happened on the same night, and the way they happened, with the implications they carry, that's not just sports. That's a chapter in a book that someone is going to write about this era of basketball. And you watched it live. The teams that survive chaos in the playoffs, teams that can absorb a punch, reset, and still find a way, those are the teams that win championships. And right now, after tonight, I can tell you with confidence that the field has been narrowed. The pretenders have been exposed. And the real contenders, the ones who belong on the biggest stage, are starting to reveal themselves. So here's where we land. The Thunder are not a surprise anymore. They are the standard. The Pistons are not an underdog story anymore. They are a threat. The Lakers are not a favorite anymore. They are a team in crisis. And the Cavs are not a guaranteed top 4 anymore. They are a team with a serious problem and very little time to fix it. The NBA playoffs just got infinitely more interesting. And if you've watched this far, you already know more about what's actually happening in these playoffs than 99% of the people talking about it online. So do me one favor. Share this video with one person who loves basketball. One person who deserves to have the real breakdown, the real analysis, the real story behind these games. Not the highlight reels. Not the hot takes. The actual truth about what is happening and why it matters. I'll see you for the next game. And trust me, based on everything we just talked about, the next game is going to be even more insane than tonight. Stay ready.